Everyday Life with Guardsmares, Chapter 8. It had been a little over half an hour since Artemis blew out of Anonymous's chambers like a summer gale. Unfortunately, neither Specialist Glamoursphere nor Corporal Honor Bound were upstairs in their quarters just then. She didn't have time to wait around, so she'd bolted for the barracks dining hall instead. Besides, it was a fair bet that they would be there. No dice though, and she'd even quickly flown up to the top of the hall to get a good look around. Artemis dined alone as a result, but she was so excited that she could barely taste the usual outstanding Friday evening grub. Finally, after a return trip across the castle grounds, she was back at her quarters, just above the Royal Engineer's chambers. Time for her to get dressed up for the big show. Without coming to a stop, and certainly without touching her hooves down onto the ground, she'd reached out and swiftly jerked the door handle even as she flew forward, bowling her way into the room and careening off the hallway wall, and probably leaving a nice set of hoofprints on the wallpaper.
Whoa, easy there, jeez!
Well, it looks like she'd found one of her compatriots. Glamoursphere was so shocked by Artemis's dynamic entrance that she'd practically jumped off the sofa. With a huge grin on her face, Artemis came skidding to a touchdown in front of her.
Oh, hey, Glamoursphere! Guess what happened? Some pony dared you to drink a whole tray full of shots in the canteen,
she quipped, slightly fuddled after Artemis's energetic arrival.
I don't know, why else are you bouncing off the walls like that?
She shook her head vigorously.
Nope. Royal Engineer Anonymous is taking me out to see a musical at the Sardina Theater, and he's buying me a ticket just to sit next to him.
Glamoursphere's eyes went wide.
What? Seriously?
Artemis nodded her head, also vigorously. Lily smiled and cocked a hoof at her.
Oh my gosh, jealous! Yeah, and I'm gonna wear a dress and everything.
Artemis immediately started for her room.
We're leaving in less than an hour, so I've got to get ready.
Glamoursphere looked after her with a grin on her face.
Well, Philly, you sure don't waste time. Way to bag yourself a hot ticket on short notice. Hot ticket? Oh, wait, she must mean the hot show ticket.
Bounding into her room, Artemis left the door open as she rummaged through her closet.
Yeah, isn't it great?
Glamoursphere peeked in at her around the doorway.
Well, you know, you're not the only one who struck gold today. I passed by Captain Milthoff again. I know! I heard you walked over there when I relieved you.
Whoops. That wasn't too polite of her to interrupt Lily. All that excitement was going to her head a bit. Better cool things off. There was still plenty of time before the show, after all.
Right, and this time he actually came over and spoke to me. Said he'd seen me around and wanted to say hello, but you know what that means, don't you, Philly friend?
As Artemis grabbed the hanger that she was looking for, a question sprung to mind, and she peeked around the corner to speak with Lily, face to face.
Oh, right, I was going to ask. Isn't Captain Milthoff married?
Glamoursphere just laughed.
Oh, sure, he's married, but that won't stop him from saying hello. Know what I mean?
She sure did know what she meant, although she did kind of put a weird emphasis on saying hello there. Still, she must have just meant that Captain Milthoff was one of those lucky colts whose wife wasn't so suspicious of him that he couldn't say hello to a mare in the street. Or in the palace, rather. Aw, he must be a really swell guy.
Yeah, I do know, and that's great for you.
Glamoursphere took a step forward and leaned up back against the side wall of Artemis's closet.
Anyways, I'm thinking it won't be long before we can go get some drinks together in the officers' club, and then, well, things will proceed naturally, won't they?
As she trailed off, she raised one of her eyebrows and smirked at the Pegasus.
Sure, I get it.
She didn't really get it, so she changed the subject instead.
I can't wait to get back after the show and write a letter to my cool friend back in Barry about tonight.
It looked like she'd lost Glamoursphere. Her nose was all scrunched up, and her eyes had gone wide again. She knew about cult friends, right? Well, anyways, it didn't really matter because Artemis had found her dress.
And here's what I'm gonna wear tonight. Check this out.
Grabbing the hanger hook in her mouth, she swished it out in front of her, taking to the air and spread it out with her hooves. Glamoursphere seemed to be struck speechless.
It's my cotillion ball dress from my last year in Barry before I joined the Royal Guard, and it still fits.
Her roommate seemed to be struggling for words. She probably just hadn't seen traditional clothing that finely made before.
Isn't it pretty? My grandma made it, and she's practically an alicorn with a sewing needle.
Finally, after getting back down on all fours, Glamoursphere seemed to find the words.
It's got puff sleeves. She noticed! Yeah, aren't they gorgeous? I was voted as queen of the ball, and I got a tiara and everything.
The unicorn's mouth hung open, and she had one hoof held up, like she wanted to say something, but all that came out was gibberish.
Wow, Oh, poor Philly. She must have been overwhelmed from all the excitement of a new friend in Captain Meltuff and your hot ticket to the show tonight. Anyways, even though I've got 3/4 of an hour, I want to make sure I just look right, so I'm gonna jump in the shower, if you don't mind.
She still seemed unable to put two words together.
Okay, sure.
Artemis laid the dress down on her bed and set to work on removing her armor. Glamour Spear backed slowly out of her room and closed the door.
Oh, this is gonna be so much fun.
It was 6:45, and Specialist Glamour Spear was lying on the sofa reading Cosmo. Sparkshower had gone trotting daintily out of the door on her way to Anonymous's chambers. Lily uttered a silent prayer to Celestia that, for her comrade's sake, nobody important spotted her and the Royal Engineer together. At least not while she was wearing that horribly unfashionable dress.
Puffed sleeves. Puffed sleeves! Are you bucking kidding me? Those went out of fashion decades ago!
And she couldn't even say anything about it. Lily might have a big mouth, but she was not going to light the fuse on a grenade full of trouble and drop it at her own hooves. After all, she knew what mares were like when they realized that they didn't have anything nice to wear right before a big event. But she definitely needed to take Sparkshower out dress shopping if she managed to get Anonymous into her saddlebag. After all, she didn't want word getting around that she was working for a VIP with a taste for unfashionable mares. And also, what was that about having a cult friend back in Barry? And she was gonna tell him about her new salt lick on the side? Does he have some kind of cuckolding fetish?
Ah, jeez. Country ponies sure are kinky weirdos.
She could hardly wait till Honor Bound got back so she could tell her about this. It would wipe that detached expression from her face for sure. Now, I can get the context of a salt lick, like a one-night stand with somebody or something like that, but every time I hear that damn phrase, I always think that Lily Glamour Spear's licking a dick or some shit. Before we even go deeper into that topic, oh, no pun intended, let's get on to our glamorous donators. Top donators: Dash of Evergreen, Peter Coulthard, J Tin Man, Darkside, and Ponyman. Courier Crew CI, Strix, Zar630, Narwhals, Delta Omega, RuneScythe 9852, Dospo, Rhiny Dragonwolf, Hunter Norman, Austin Roland, Secret Moon, Tall Russia, The Toilet Snake, Sword Brother and Mordred, Cerberus, Goulash Eating Hazar, Juan and Wandering, Enderai63, Random Person Man Guy, Easy, Starlight Glimmer, Squiddy Boy, David E. Sanchez, Soul Dragon, Gaggy, Trey, Shadow Drake, Joe Piercy, Alex F, Rainbow Dash, Teal'ca Anderson, TV Killer, John Becker, Leon Reynolds, Raven Speedster, Zach Rakau, Mr. ECU, Leslie Prickett, Edgar Garcia, One Kingdom 1, Nissa Rusan, Vizuri, and Dyslexic Character Sheets. Thank you all very much for watching this video, and live life to the fullest.